One. All right. Welcome, Bart Miller, to the Happy Hustle Podcast, my brother. I am super stoked to connect.
Me too. I'm so excited to be here, actually.
Yeah, man, this is going to be a fun one. I mean, you are the $1 billion cowboy, a rock star entrepreneur, just a badass online business coach, as well as just a really cool human being. I mean, you've sold over $100 million in, e-commerce and sales and services. You have so much wisdom to share with the Happy Hustlers. I can't wait to roll up our sleeves and get in it. But before we do, what's something interesting about yourself, Bart, that not too many people know?
I met my wife country dancing. A lot of people don't know that. I also was on a dance scholarship, so a lot of people don't know that.
Whoa.
But, yeah, there you go. So paid for college, dancing and riding horses.
Dance scholarship. Like, talk to us. I'm not going to let you get out of that one. Tell us a little more about what kind of dance.
Well, what was interesting is when I was younger, I have an older sister that has cerebral palsy. She's handicapped. And so for coordination, they had her in a ballet class. Well, I was that little kid. They didn't have ADD back then. I don't know why we didn't have ADD back then, but we didn't. So we didn't have that. So, but I'm 48, so I kind of put it in perspective. But now they have a thing called ADD. Well, that would have been me. I was running around like crazy, and having all sorts of fun. And the teacher of the thing is like, we got to control this kid. So let's put him in a clogging class. So there's a clogging class going with some adults at the same time. So I just started clogging. I thought it was so fun. So they, I just danced. And so when I got time for college, I'd been ballroom dancing through high school. And I went to get a ballroom scholarship. Well, honestly, they didn't have any. They were like full. But they're like, hey, if you could only clog, we got all this money for cloggers. And I'm like, well, guess what? I can clog. They're like, no way. I'm like, yeah. So they gave me a clogging scholarship, and I ended up touring Spain and France. And
what the heck?
Deal, yeah. So I was able to dance, and that gave me some good money for college. And then I was in a colt breaking class and making money on riding horses. So
wow, that's super cool. And you know what? I can actually personally testify to your dance skills because we went out in Nashville when we were at Funnel Hacking Live, and I saw those moves, and it was tip of the hat to you, my good sir. Impressive. So Bart, let's dive in. I like to kick things off with a bang. What would you say to the online entrepreneurs and the happy hustlers out there right now who have been hit hard by this pandemic and need to potentially pivot and innovate and think through how they can truly add more value because their old products or services isn't necessarily effective like they once were? I know it's kicking it off with a bang, but what would you say to someone like that who's maybe right now in the depths of despair, struggling to really get their business back?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I feel like it really is something a lot of people are facing. So I would like to hit this head on for you. And I think the number one thing is, can I tell you a story quickly first?
Please.
So I remember in my career, it's been about 16 years, give or take, but I lost everything. And I'm not going to go into a lot of that, but I honestly remember sitting there, and when I say everything, I mean everything. And I mean millions of dollars. I was like, I didn't know what I was going to do. And I actually was going into debt trying to pay off people because I was too arrogant, prideful at the time, I guess, to take out bankruptcy. Now, right or wrong, I just didn't want to do that. And I don't judge anybody who does. But I remember, and I tell you the story, I'll get to the point, but I honestly remember laying in bed, and I had a pistol next to my head, and I was like, this is it. Like, I just can't bail myself out. Like, just everything buried on me, and I remember laying there, and I remember just getting so mad at God and just being like, God, like, how dare you like do this to me? Like, I had everything. Why? I was paying my tithes. I was going to church. I was doing all the things, all the right things. And yet here I am. Like, you made me wealthy, and then you take it all away. What is a lesson in this for me to learn? It was extreme. And I just remember sitting there thinking, and I went to bed that night, and I had this thought come to me, and I said, like, Bart, you've hired, because at that time I'd hired Tony Robbins. I was going to his Ultimate Mastery. Chet Holmes was the very first one. And I remember, basically this just come to me. It's like, you've hired these coaches, you hire a coach, and what do you expect from your coaches? And I mean, I'm brutal. If I hire you as my coach, I want you to kick my ass. That's why I'm hiring you. I want you to call out things, I want all these things. And I remember, and I hope this really helps some of your people that are listening to your podcast, but I remember this voice saying, but when God put you through these type of challenges and I push you to your limits, you cuss me, mad at me. You'll pay this guy over here thousands of dollars to kick your ass.
Yeah.
Yet when I do it for you, you're mad at me. And I was like, oh my gosh, I am literally chewing out God. I'm so mad at God. And I'm laying here so pissed off. But what he's doing is he's growing me to the next level. And I didn't even realize it. He's coaching me to be better, coaching me to be where I need to be, you know? And it was that aha moment. So I tell them all to just really get back to their why. Why did you do what you did? If you're doing it for the money, great, go for it. Like I'm not anti-money at all, but sit down and look at your why and ground yourself in, okay, what is it that I need to do? And then reach out to your network of people that are in the space or doing what you're doing and say, hey, this is where I'm struggling. Is there anything you can do to help me make this quicker, execute this quicker? Even if you have to give up a piece of equity or whatever it may be, and see if they can help you execute quicker on the thing that you're trying to do, or have belief in that thing that you're trying to do, or coach you on, hey, this isn't the best idea, do this. Now, I'm very much, a lot of people say, follow your passion, follow your passion. I say, follow fixing problems. You know, it's great to follow your passion, and I'm all for it if you can make the money in it. But I'll tell you where real money's made, and that is fixing people's problems. So just go in your Rolodex, and even if you hate it, just think about the problems you can fix and how quickly you can fix those. Because all we buy in life is solutions to our problems. That's all we're really buying. So if you'll dig in and say, okay, this is really the problem that I'm fixing, and you'll sell the end result of that, you'll become very wealthy very quickly, right? And so when anybody comes to me and say, well, this is my passion, I go, great. What does that passion solve? What is the problem? Well, it doesn't solve anything. Then let's not chase your passion. Let's make so damn much money that you can pay to do your passion all day long. You'll be just as happy, and you don't have to ruin your passion. Okay. So that doesn't resonate with everybody, and I'm okay with that. That's okay. All I'm giving you is Bart Miller's point of view of how I coach and things that I think are very important. And that is, if he who solves the largest problems wins the most amount of money, because people pay to solve problems.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, it really is about what problem do you solve, and then who exactly you solve that problem for. And then like, what is your uniqueness, and how can you actually exploit it in the service of others? You know, and that's how you break it down, where you hopefully can integrate passion and purpose into it, you know. Absolutely. But ultimately you have to solve a problem. I love that. I mean, follow fixing problems. So if you're out there right now, all the happy hustlers listening, and maybe you had to pivot throughout this pandemic, many of us had, think about what problem you can truly solve. And the bigger the problem, the more value you can deliver, the more ultimately you'll make. Right?
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. Right. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Simple enough to break it down. Then you just got to execute on it. Right.
that's the reality.
Yeah, that's it, man. Well, speaking of executing, I mean, I know you've executed in multiple businesses across multiple different mediums. Yeah. Give us a little background into like what got you into entrepreneurship, and how you became the $1 billion cowboy, and who you are today.
Yeah. So the hard part for me in the life, I can assure you, if I was in everybody's head talking right now, they're going to say the same thing, is I'm a bad employee. It's like, man, I love my freedom, you know, and I love my ideas. I'm pretty sold on my own ideas. So when I started to work, I remember always being like frustrated. I was like, God, don't, this is wrong, or I want to do it this way, you know? And it's like, no, you have to do this. And so back in the day I'm a pretty independent person. So I just decided, you know what, I'm going to start to learn. And I dropped out of college. I was very frustrated with college, and I wasn't a great student. And so what I learned was sales. That was the first thing I got into, was sales. Second thing I got into in my career was marketing. And I believe that there's two things that rule the world, and that is marketing alleviates the need for sales. So great marketing alleviates the need for sales. I do believe that. Now, a lot of guys get pissed off because they want sales are it. Now, I'm not saying that sales aren't it. I'm saying marketing done appropriately alleviates the need to sell. Number two is you've got to be a money man. You've got to have a good accountant. You've got to have somebody who knows your numbers. If you can market well and you can have your numbers run appropriately, there is no reason you can't win. Now, there's a third step, and that is if you can buy your way to success faster, or yeah, you can buy your way to success faster. So I always try to find the top person in whatever I'm doing and pay whatever it takes to mentor from them and learn from them. And people get this wrong. I'm talking even to the point where I will give a year for free to somebody, bust my ass for them, if I can learn their skill set, because then I'm going to make millions and millions on the other end. What happens with a lot of our younger generation, sometimes they misread that in, well, they should pay me. They should pay me to learn their skill set. It's like, I'm not going to pay you to become my competitor. Like, if you really want to learn this, there's some stuff you need to go through. And I'm not going to go on a rant on this, but I'm saying buy your way to success. So buy you the right coaches, buy the right people, buy the right things, and make sure, and I could go into a whole thing on this, but that's how I've done it in my career. So when I got in it, I wanted to start learn marketing. I found the number one marketing guy I could learn from. And I learned and I dug in and I served at a level I could, and I made it worth their time. And then I took that skill. I sales the same way. And then when I started speaking across the US, I was a speaker, they're paying me to be a paid speaker. And I was like, I'm not that great a speaker. And I was a good speaker, but I wasn't a great speaker. And so then I started learning from that. I hired the number one person. I mean, right now in my life, I have four coaches in my life at the level I am. Why? You ask yourself? Well, because I believe that's how I stay accountable. And I believe that's how I grow faster than anybody else can. That's why I was able to, go into bodybuilding and 1 year later walk away with not only the overall sword, but winning my category in 1 year, right? That's how I did team roping, went into start. I never headed a steer until 2 years ago, won a saddle the first year I team roped. Second year, I won 3 saddles and qualified for the World Series. So it's all because I put the right people in the right seats, hire them to mentor me in it. You're like, team roping? Yeah, even in team roping. Like, congrats. So anyway, I don't know if that's what you're looking for, but that's it.
For sure, man. No, it's such a great takeaway. Like you could buy your way to success faster by hiring the right people in your life. I mean, everyone has coaches, even the elite top performers. Amen. Listen, here's Bart, guys. He doesn't need coaches. If he wanted to throw in the towel, he didn't have to work another day in his life, but you're striving for more. Yeah. And so you have coaches to get you there faster. And so you buy your way to success. And I love that you mentioned, great marketing alleviates the need for sales. I think that's such a valuable just take home for me personally, because I love sales personally. Yeah. Like I love selling.
Me too.
It's like the hunter in me, but it just, I haven't actually thought about it like you just broke it down, but it's so true too. It's like, if you have a really top-notch marketing campaign and a really quality VSL and maybe some good marketing copy that acts similarly with sales copy, you don't even need a guy on the phone to close. If you build the scarcity, the urgency, the social proof, and then your marketing will sell it for you. So I would just urge everyone out there, think about, really where your marketing's at, and think about how you could make it better. And then also, you mentioned something really important. You got to have a money man or someone in your corner. And also you need to know your numbers. This is something, just being transparent here, that I'm cleaning up more so this year than ever, because I realize, if I want to run a successful business at the highest level, you got to know your numbers,
That's exactly.
So talk to us a little bit about that. Like what are those key KPIs that you really instruct your entrepreneurs that you coach on really knowing?
Well, let me just take you through COVID, for example. And this is something that, and I'm once again, I don't live extravagant. Like if you come to my house today, it's a nice house, but I wouldn't say in any shape or form, it's an extravagant house. Like I said, and the reason that's intentional, because what my wife and I wanted to do was have 2 years worth of money in the bank to run the company. 2 years worth of company. I can pay all my employees for 2 years without ever selling another thing. Now, I don't know what inclined us to do that, but we did that before COVID, right? So we had that. So when COVID hit, it was not like I could reach out to everybody that was with me and say, hey, don't stress. Don't stress. And I'm not saying it's because thank goodness to me, but I was grateful. There was a lot of families that depend upon me being their leader. And there's nothing worse as a leader in my, it's hard, man. It's hard to call a family and say, look, because of this crisis, I apologize, but I got to let you go, and that sucks. And I know some people have gone through that, and it's not your fault. I'm not blaming. I'm not pointing fingers at anything, but to me, that was important. So when I talk to my young entrepreneurs, I say, look, you need to be putting 10% away for you every single month. That's money you don't touch. That's your nest egg. Just put it away. 10%, a minimal that you're putting away just for the business, right? And then on top of that, you need to make sure you got your business just running. So 20% right out of the gate is going in 2 different accounts. Now, at first, it's like, whoa, are you kidding me? But reality is, when you do that, if the family has an issue, at least you've got some capital for the family. You're not taking it from the business. You're taking it from the family, because what we have a tendency to do is, well, I own the business, therefore I can go sneak into it, or I can grab some from the business loan. We all do it. Okay. I mean, and we should. If shit's happening in our family, we got to take care of it, and that's our only resource. You're going to use what you need to. I'm not pointing any fingers, but if you build this 10% over here, you've got that, okay, for those type of days. You also have the 10%, just like you're doing for your family, because that's your business family that you can tap into. So let's say one of your families comes and says, hey, I got a daughter that needs this type of surgery and this and that and the other. Well, guess what? As a family, you can go to your group of employees and say, hey guys, I put 10% away. Are you guys, this is for our family. Are you cool if I take some of that and hand it to here? Are you cool with that? And they're like, dude, so grateful you've done that. Yeah, let's do that, or whatever it may be. But it gives you an ability to just have a little bit, I guess is what I'm saying. So look at it that way. Look at your 10%, and then look at the overall business itself, and just make sure your margins are where they need to be to run and operate the business, right? Because the business has to be able to make money, or it's not a business. And then also look at it as, did you create a job for yourself or a business for yourself? Because what happens as young entrepreneurs, and it's okay, we actually create our own jobs. Yeah. And that's okay. That's okay. But we have to look at it as, at the startup, as, how are we getting this to be a business, so that you're working yourself out of your job, right? Yeah. And it's okay at the beginning, because we all have to start there. I mean, including me. I was my own best employee, but I had to fire myself one day, right? Because you've got to fire yourself to let the business grow, so that you can be what you desire to be, which is the overseer, right? So if you can't fire that position, you're not setting your business up right, which is your position, right? Yeah. You're just keeping yourself a big job. So the day you fire yourself is when it becomes a business.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, first of all, just socking away 20%, 10 for you and an emergency fund and your family, and then 10 for your business and your business family. Great point there. Making sure your margins are where they need to be. Like, I think that's something you kind of learn the hard way. You're like, oh, sure, I did an event, but I actually lost money.
Lost a ton of money, but I did
it. Yeah, it was a very successful event. I lost 100 G's, Yeah. But you learn the hard way. Then you're like, okay, I got to bake in more margins there. But yeah, it's a great point. Like, I even, it's funny, even with brand deals, right? Like, sure, the Happy Hustle podcast has awesome brand deals and partnerships with my sponsors, but that's a job. That, like, I don't kid myself, I still, like, they are paying me and the Happy Hustle to, share their message and their brand. That's a glorified job. I'm grateful for it. Yeah. But ultimately, I want to be working on my business, that cliche say, not always in it. And that's what you're talking about, firing yourself and running an actual business. What would you say, like, are those warning or triggers or those signals that say, okay, it's time for you to actually run a business and fire yourself? How do you know when is the time, or if it's possible for you now, or if you need to, like, set something up further in order to get there to make that transition seamless?
Yeah, I'm going to go here first, and then I'll answer that question. The number one thing that I made a mistake early on in my career, there's there's a lot of them, but two major mistakes. Number one was I was hiring C-level people instead of A-level people because I was like, I can get away with paying less. I'll help them. I'll train them. It's going to be okay. They're going to grow with me. It's going to be fine. And I convinced myself of that because of I don't know if it's my tight ass in me or what it is. I don't really feel like I'm really a tight ass, but I did that for a long time. And finally I was like, no more of this, no more. I'm hiring the best person. I know it's going to cost me, but I'm going to hire them because then I don't have to manage them. A-level people, the great thing about A-level people, when you put them in your business, if they're A-level, they're you. They're drivers, they're goers. You're not managing. In fact, they're coming to you saying, dude, what more do you have? And, or I've already done this. I'm kicking butt. So like, what do you want to do? Let's grow this thing. And so when I did that, that's when I saw my most success. So I'm going to tell you this, don't be afraid before you fire yourself to surround yourself with A-level people, and then they'll fire you. They'll fire you. That's the great thing is when your people are firing you and telling you to get the heck out of the way, you're like, okay, go make me money, go do it. And that's
Yeah.
You always have C-level people. It's very hard to fire yourself because then you have to go hire somebody to manage your C-level people. Well, nobody likes that. Nobody likes that. But when you hire A-level people and you put them in the buses, seats, they get to where they take you and say, dude, you're blessing my life. Like, let us take this on. And they work you out of where you're at. They fire you.
Yeah.
So that's the best way to get fired is by putting the right people. That's when you know. That's when you know your company is going to be safe always too, because they know and they care so much that they're not going to let the company go away. They're going to let you go do what you need to do and oversee. Now, also, I want you to remember, most companies are built on somebody's expertise and skill set. And that's when you really got to go have fun with that part of it and really do what you do extremely well and only do that and let them do what they do really well and let them own that. Where at the beginning, we're doing a lot of hats, right? And so we get distracted from the one thing that we do well. So anyway, just a few things to think about. Yeah,
for sure. I love that. Especially like it's such a great representation, the C-level people versus the A-level people. I know I've hired like C-level people before. And and it's like I was saving a buck here, a buck there. You're so right. It caused more stress, more oversight, more my time and energy, where it would have been more cost effective to just hire an A-level person from the get-go. And I love that you said your A-level people will eventually fire you for you, because that's what it takes. If you want to go far, you got to go together, and you have to have your team around you and start to really recruit those A-level players. In terms of like your A-level players that you have around you, give us like your core five. Like, obviously, you got a really good tax guy or CPA. Go forward with that.
They're all my coaches. So they're like Russell Brunson, right? In the internet marketing space. They're like Ryan Benson in the bodybuilding space. They're like Jennifer Finlayson Fife in the marriage space. They're Jason Warner or Tyson Durfee or Trevor Brazil in the team roping space. I mean, so that they're these high, and now I have people in my business too, but I'm at a level in my business right now that I was fired a little while ago. So I've really got those people who run those and do stuff, but at the end of the day, those are the people I look for, is those key people that, here's the deal too, to think about is I love to be around. So I don't know if you ever saw the billionaire show that's out there. I can't remember what it's called right now for some reason.
Like anyway, the business one, like The Profit or something?
It's not The Profit, but it's actually, Grant Cardone's on one of the episodes in this.
Undercover Billionaire.
Undercover Billionaire. So the first one I think was really, really cool in the fact of all of them, when they have nothing is when you find your truest friends. I mean, I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's like sometimes in your business and things like that, people, they still, no matter how great they are, they want to kiss your butt because they know you. But when you hire a coach on the outside, it's like they have no dog in the fight, right? And that's what's awesome. Now, I have some really, don't get me wrong, amazing people that I trust and will do that in my business. But just always remember that if you have an outside opinion, that's so good to have, not because they need you or because they have to have you. It's because they want to be there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, hopefully I'm explaining it appropriately, but just have a few key people on the outside that are give you the gut checks and the indicators that you need. But like you said, how I find them is I go for the very top, the very best, try to get them in my world, and then have them oversee my life and drive
Mm.
me to a higher level.
Mm. Yeah, I think it's a great point too. Just, when the chips are down and you got nothing left, you see who's your real friends and who's
Yeah.
there for you.
Yeah.
And I think there's, they say you're the sum of your 5 closest relationships, right? You either round up or you round down. I think that's true. I really
There's
do.
a ton of truth to it.
And I also think it's not even who you surround yourself with, it's what you surround yourself with. Like, do you choose to watch a rom-com on Netflix, or are you going to school to YouTube and learning about the next crypto play? Like, that's your choice. And you choose who's in your brain and how you manifest those ideas and then make them reality. So I think, if you're maybe not able right now to hire a coach like, Bart, or someone at that level, well, buy Bart's book or his products or his services. It's like, that's how you can still get their wisdom in a more scalable, evergreen way. And then when you're ready, elevate to that next level where you get that personal one-on-one approach,
Yeah. 100%. Very well said.
Yeah. And I want to ask you something. I ask all my guests this, but I'm curious, what was your first hustle, Bart? What the first thing you did for money?
Ride horses.
Oh, cool. So you got paid to break them and ride them and train them?
Train horses. I remember as a little kid that these people had a bunch of people around here had Shetland ponies or smaller ponies, and I could ride the hair off of a horse. And so you've ever rode one of them? They're like riding a pig, they're worth so much skin. But anyway, so like they'd bring me these little horses and they'd want me to train them for their kids. And so that was my first hustle. I made a ton of money riding these little horses, and I didn't love them. I'm not gonna lie. They're mean little suckers,
Yeah.
They're pain, but it was a great little hustle when I was a kid. And then I raised cows, so I'd get dairy cows, and I would buy them little dairy cows and I'd raise them, and that's how I paid for a lot of things when I started to get married. It's how I paid for my wedding. It's how I bought my wedding ring for my wife. Was I had a herd of cows. So I was that Western cowboy. I wore Wranglers the day I graduated. But anyway. So that's how I did my first hustle.
I love it, man. And speaking of your wife and your relationship, I'm just curious. I mean, I know of a lot of the happy hustlers out there are in a relationship, and I have a fiance. We've been together 5 years, Steph and I, and I think it's difficult sometimes to navigate those waters as an entrepreneur and to really maintain love and passion and sex in your relationship, while you're growing your business and focusing on this baby of yours. And I oftentimes see a lot of my fellow entrepreneurs, they're working so hard to get to the top of the mountain in their business and in their life for profit and success. But then they get there and they look around, they're the only ones there. And they say, oh, by the way, the view sucks, and I need to go back down to get to the other mountain where I have my faith and my family, my friends and my fitness and my fun.
Sure.
And I'm just curious if you're cool to go there. What are some of the lessons that you and your wife have learned in navigating entrepreneurship and a marriage, and maybe some of those lessons that we can mitigate as happy hustlers by just learning from you?
Yeah. So just put in perspective, I've been married for 25 or 26 years, right through there. So I've got 4 kids. 3 of them are out of the house now. One of them's still home. Mm-hmm. And the one thing at the very beginning that we did is we start any argument or anything like that. We start are you still in love with me?
I love it.
And that's how we start, and we're on the same team, right? I mean, that's really it. We're still on the same team. We're going the same place, right? Yeah. And then it's easy to start the discussion because, it's always like, if we're going to fight, we might as well know we're trying to fight for the same reason. Because if you're fighting for the same reason, it's okay to have different points of view. But if you're fighting because just to fight, that's a whole nother story. Okay. Now, so we always ask that, and then, if it gets too far along, Sunny will usually take her top off. And then all of a sudden I'm looking at boobs and I'm like, whoa, Like the fight's over. This is done. We're over. It's the easiest way to settle it. Just get naked.
Oh, I
I'll tell you
love that.
Yeah, I mean, it
love
sounds
that.
crazy, but it settles a lot of fights in a quick hurry.
I'm
And
gonna tell Steph that right away. That's
yeah,
a great
absolutely,
tactic.
right? When we get to dispute, this is how you go about putting the end to it. And then the other part of it is we always, from the very beginning, we said, look, business is business, home is home. So we know right when the split is, right? So we can look at each other and say, are we in business mode? Or are we in home mode? Let's be clear. Which mode are we in? What are we arguing, or what's the dispute right now? Or where are we at? Okay. It's this. The other thing is, and you're going to hear this from a lot of people, but I'm telling you, it's the truth. If you, as a man, forget to date your wife, you got the biggest problem on planet Earth. Always date your wife, and act as if you could lose her tomorrow. Act as if you could lose her tomorrow. Date her. So when guys are having a struggle, I put a little course together on this even, and I did it for a bunch of guys because I thought it was so critical. So I'll give it to your guys right now for free, and I'll give it to any woman listening to the podcast. Here you go.
Wow.
So what you do, what I want you to do is send a text every single day to your wife. Okay, for a month, 30 days. Try this challenge out, 30 days. Now, what the text is like is, I want you not to just text, hey, how's it going today? I want you to text and say, I remember the first time I saw you. I remember in that dance club, I got that first look at you, and I just remember that. And I'll never forget that moment. I love you, babe. Okay, the next day, honey, I saw your ass. Those Lululemon pants? Wow. Like, you drove me crazy this morning. That was so cool, right? Third text can be, you know what? I saw that little Xander was sick and you just held him there. It was such a beautiful moment to see a mom with her son. Thank you for being that amazing mom. You know, and 30 days of those type of texts. Okay, now day 15, I want you to do something for her, a gift of some sort that she doesn't know. There's no idea that you're doing this for her. I want you just to get her something that she has wanted. Now, there was one gentleman that did this. He wrote me a story, and his wife had never gone to prom. She really wanted to go to prom, but she never got asked to prom. So he actually got the limo, got dresses, got a makeup person, got all the friends together, rented a barn, and took her to prom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was amazing. You got to see it.
Man.
But let me tell you, when you do what I'm talking about, watch what happens with your significant other. Watch how they react to you. Watch how much more in love they are with you, regardless if you're in a good or bad marriage. I don't care. This works no matter where you're at, because when you care about somebody and you genuinely care about them, guess what? It doesn't matter about you. You're doing this with true intent. So don't do this if you're expecting her to be in the sack with you tomorrow. That's not what you're doing this for. This is because you see these moments that you truly remember. I truly wanted her to know, no matter what happens, that I remember those moments, that they were amazing for me, and that I care enough that when I'm listening, I know the things that she wants. Okay. And when you give her that gift for the first time in 15 days, it's something that she's like, holy crap, I didn't even know you heard about this. Watch what happens. Just watch in those 30 days what happens. And I could go on with this whole challenge, but try that alone. And I'll guarantee you'll be writing into Cary saying, dude, this podcast, off the charts for me. Like, I can't believe how just a text alone telling my wife how awesome she is, how beautiful she is, the moments in my life that I reflected back on, it's a game changer for me.
I love that so much, man. And I really do think that is going to be the catalyst in everyone's relationship, mine included, to just spark to a whole nother level of love and passion and just appreciation and gratitude. You know, I have something that I've been doing in my relationship, called the love calendar, where we have this whiteboard and we actually measure 1 to 10 every day where we rank. You know, how much love was there? 10 is like, you know, lots of love, sex, passion. It was a great day. 1, complete opposite, you know. And so at the end of the day, I said, hey babe, what was your number? You know, and she said, oh, mine was an 8. I said, oh, you know, mine was a 6. I wasn't feeling blah, blah, this, that. So then we average it out of 7. I put a heart around it because it's a 5 or above. But then at the end of the month, we can say, hey, look, you know, we're about 85%. I think we can get to 95% love days. Here's what I think we can do differently. But what you measure, you can manage. And I think that's
Amen.
important in your business. It's important in your life.
You bet.
But if you don't measure it, then we have this negativity bias as human beings. That's why people love watching the news, which still shocks me. But it's like, it's because it's 85% negative, right? So we remember the negative things much more frequently than we do the positives, unfortunately. So I
Yep.
think that's just been a nice tool for us, but I'm totally going to implement this 30-day text, and I can, and the 15-day gift. So I'm going to shoot you a message
Awesome.
and let you know how that goes, man. I'm glad I asked that. I'm really glad that we went there. And Bart, talk to us a little bit about I Do Epic Coaching and kind of what you got going on right now, and even how, some of the happy hustlers who are qualified can potentially even work with you.
Oh, thanks, man. So the I Do Epic Coaching came because I had a lot of people reaching out to me just saying, I need a CEO or somebody just to look in my business, or, I just need somebody that has a lot of knowledge on different things that operate, from e-commerce, online schools, whatever it is. And you've been through it all. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm happy to put some eyes on this. And so I started doing that. And then I'm like, finally, it's like, it was taking so much time up. I'm like, okay, look, I'm just going to throw a number out there and hope you like this, but this is what I'm going to charge to do this. And they were like, are you kidding me? That's so cheap. Like, we'll do it yesterday. And I'm like, and some of them don't even show up on half the calls. I set a set time for them, but they don't need it. And that's okay. Like, I'm totally cool with it. They just want a slot knowing that they got my time, and they have it throughout the year. So it's one-on-one coaching the way it's set up right now. And you can go to I Do Epic Coaching. You can fill out the survey, set up a time, and then I'll see if you're a good fit, if your business is where it needs to be. And then we just work on your business. Every week you have that call, and then every week you have Voxer access to me, and you can Vox me things and I get back to you. And then I try. So like this last week, I got them all involved in a virtual summit so they could learn how to run a virtual summit. And then today they're going to get on, and we're going to all dial it in together. Right. So, sometimes I bring outside guests in, and they speak and they're able to attend those. And that's when I'm learning, so there's a lot of stuff I want to learn, but I bring in my elites so they can learn at the exact same time. Now, that's not part of the deal. I don't guarantee them any of that, but I do that because I want them to know that I'm learning just like they're learning. And so the other part that they get access to is, a lot of my network. If it's a right fit, then I introduce them to the right people. I had one person that's like, I just want to meet this one person. I said, well, it's the same coaching price. And if it fits, then I'll make it work. If it doesn't fit, just understand, this is your, I guess, your cost to try this out. And they're like, no, it's going to fit and you're going to love it. And I'm like, okay, cool. So that's all. And it did fit, and they were right. And so they invested in me, and that was my part of the deal, was getting them all connected together. But, it was a win because I did all the due diligence. I did the proper stuff to make sure that I wasn't using one of my network people just to use them, because I don't do that. So I don't know if that helps you, but basically, what I do Epic Coaching is if you need a CEO in your business, and understand funnels or understand what you're doing wrong or why things aren't converting and stuff like that, I'm that. I jump in and help on that once a week, and we take you to another level. That's it.
Yeah, I love that. And it's idoepiccoaching.com. You guys definitely check it out. I mean, I think people like Bart come around in your life for a reason, and it's very rare to get a chance. Like, you're not going to be doing one-on-one coaching forever. You don't need to. You do it because you love to, because you love business.
It really is fun for me. I look forward. Every one of my clients I love is family, so it's fun for me. Like, it really is. When it's not fun, it's not worth it.
Exactly. I mean, and that's the thing. It's like, you guys take action out there. If you like Bart's vibe, which how could you not? And you really need help right now in your business, this is an opportunity to really dive deep down the rabbit hole, get expertise from someone who's been in the trenches, sold over 100 mil. I know you still got multiple successful e-com, like you have a candle biz that just crushes it. Just give us a quick insight. What's that candle biz, and like maybe a lesson learned around e-com?
Yeah, so that business is a kind of an interesting business because what happened in the candle business is my oldest daughter is like, Dad, we've seen all this. We've seen you do it for years. I want a business. And I'm like, okay, cool. Where's your funds at? She goes, I don't have a lot of funds. I said, well, I'll tell you what I'll do. We'll bring you in as an equity partner in this candle business, and we'll start it from scratch. You and your mom, it'll be your guys' business, and then you're going to run it. We're going to mentor you through this business. So that's exactly what happened. And and it's relivethemagic@home.com if you want to see her stuff. But anyway, it's absolutely awesome. But it started 5 or 6 months ago, and it has only just skyrocketed. But we really sat down with her. We put a business plan together. We showed her what she needed to do in research. She's been reaching out to the right influencers. I mean, she's learning this whole entire process. And it's just so, like, that business, if I'm transparent, is probably my favorite business, because I get to see my own kid, right? Yeah. That I love dearly, creating her own empire and her passion and her fun. And if you go look at her Instagram, you'll just see how happy she is and how much energy so much passion, that it's like, it's like you want to give her money, because it's like, oh my God, it's so great. And then when you get the candle, you're like, whoa, this thing's amazing, because she literally pours so much love into them. And
pun intended.
So, yeah, seriously. And so it's been fun. But that business, I'm super excited because it's my daughter's. The other e-commerce businesses we do are more traditional. Like, here's the product, here it is, here we put it on Amazon, Shopify. That one is total passion. It's not total. It's still the same system, let's be clear, but it's just got a lot more heart to it because it's my daughter. So
yeah, for sure. That's very cool, man. Well, I like to ask all my guests a couple different questions in a couple different disciplines. First being health, because I know you're absolutely shredded. You competed at the top level in bodybuilding. I don't even know how young you are, but you don't look it. I mean, 4 kids in a marriage of what you said, 25 years, it's impressive to see, the physical and mental shape that you've kept yourself in. Thanks. What is a happy hustle hack? And yes, I deem it happy hustle hack. Something that you do that, really optimizes your mind and your body that you think might be beneficial to share with the happy hustlers out there.
Number one is meditate. I don't care who you are, who you think you are. If you're the baddest ass cowboy that riding bulls tomorrow, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Meditation and get your vibrations into the right thing. Very, very, very important to me. Number 2 is, remember, food is fuel. Food is not anything but fuel. And that doesn't mean you can't have cheat meals. Doesn't mean you can't have things that you like. But remember, food is not to be abused. It's a fuel. Like, my horse eats the exact same thing every single day and they're happy. My cows eat the exact same thing and they're happy. And, you find that in nature that, we think we got to have all these different variety of nachos. And let me be clear, I love to eat food. I'm not lying, right? But I am here. Yeah. My 99% of my stuff, though, is consistent. It's the same thing every single day. And I'm okay with it because I kick ass with it. I have a ton of energy with it. And I know what my body's doing. Now, does that mean I could fall over with a heart attack tomorrow? Of course I can. Just like anybody else. You can only do what you can do. Yeah. But right now, I feel like a machine. I run like a Ferrari, and I'm performing like a Ferrari at 48 years old. I can rip my shirt off right now. I'll look jacked, and it's fun. But at the end of the day, I hit the gym, I work out, but I really just say the 2 hacks for everybody is meditate and eat with intention. Just eat like it's, like it's fuel instead of anything else. Those are the 2 biggest hacks in life.
Yeah, I love that, man. Do you follow one diet or another, or any particular plan, or is it just kind of custom?
Chicken and rice, baby. That's my diet.
Nice. And do you have any like meditation practice or resources, or like, are you using Headspace?
Joe Dispenza is my favorite to go to. If you want to learn, like, I think Joe Dispenza actually is never met the guy.
Magician. Yeah.
He's a guy I'd really like to meet. So if you have any questions there, anybody out there, Joe is one of those guys that I really feel like has put his life practice, or he's called for that. So I really follow a lot of his stuff. I love his books. So he would be the one I would go to if you're trying to learn this space. But yeah, he's who I lean on the most.
Very cool. Yeah, my buddy Lance, he just texted me yesterday about how he's going to Joe's. I don't know, one of his events upcoming.
Yeah, he has one here like close. I can't believe it. I got the email, sold out before I could even get on, or I'd be going.
Oh, damn. Yeah, he's crushing. Very cool. And I totally hear you. Like, food is fuel. It's thy medicine, and you have to be very intentional with what you put in your body. Great points there. Let's dive into money. And I know you've made a bunch. I know you probably lost a bunch. Like we all have. Sure. What would you say is a happy hustle hack in regards to money? Maybe something that you use to spend or save or invest wisely, and that you could share with the happy hustlers out there.
I'm a bad person to ask this if I'm transparent. I'm serious. I'm being honest with you. Most of the time, to be honest with you, money, I've had a bad relationship with money since I was younger. And I realized that when I got in business. So what I did is, this may answer some people's things, but I don't look at my bank account ever. I can't tell you how much money I have in the account or how much I don't have in the account, because all that does to me is gives me anxiety. All I know is people pay me a lot of money, and I hope I have it when I go to spend it. And that's been my life. And I'm not saying that in any bad or good way. My wife manages that. And the reason I had to do that was I used to, like, I'd get in an account and start looking at things, and I was like, oh, we only have this much money. Like, even though it was 6-7 months, like I'd have a ton of money. Like, I remember when it's right around, I had 3 million in my account, clear, like just clear, just sitting there.
Liquid,
Still, I just gave me anxiety. And I'm like, why do I have such an anxiety with this? Like, people would be dying to have that kind of money in their account, like that you could do whatever you want and you're still paying for everything, you know? But I don't know. I don't know if it's a habit. Anyway, it's just something I don't deal with. So I'm not a good one. Like, I had to hand that off to my financial people, and I have to hand that off to my wife. All I know is if they come to me and say, hey, you know, let's put another product out there and kick ass, I don't take it as I don't have money. I don't take it as anything else. I just go, okay, this is what's got to be done, and let's just execute. And when I'm free like that, I just grow, and I just keep growing. When I have the burden of money on me for some reason, it can stifle me and my growth, and I don't perform at my highest level. So I don't know that is the value of what people wanted to hear, because that's not a good money hack. Well, the money hack is this: put it in the hands that you know you can trust, that will grow it and take advantage of it, and they'll manage it and keep you managed. There you go.
Yeah, I was going to make that bridge, because I think that's exactly what you're saying is, if you're not the guy who is going, or girl who's going to go deep in the money game and really, you know, look at all the numbers on the balance sheet and the budget and whatnot, find someone who can, you know, because it has to be done. And like, I think with your wife, it's great that you have that, or your financial people.
I've got a great,
you got to have it.
But it's very critical, and I don't want to avoid it, but I can't deal with it. So I don't avoid it. I have somebody else handle it, and I just know what I need to do. So, yeah,
I love that. Let's talk about spirituality. I mean, we mentioned, you know, meditation as a health hack, and I totally think it is. But let's talk even deeper about spirituality, because for me, I believe in a higher power. I think it's really important to have faith, whether it's one God or another. It doesn't matter to me. I just think you have to be spiritual, maybe not necessarily religious, but you got to have faith. And I'm just curious, you know, if you have a happy hustle hack around spirituality or religion that you implement.
Yeah, biggest hustle hack I could give you is gratitude is the largest spiritual hack in my career, honestly. And I don't care what religion you're in, when you're in a grateful state of everything that's around you, including the food you're eating, the people that you're talking to, like understanding, like even before I got on this podcast, I was grateful for you. You didn't have to interview me. You know, you don't have to reach out, or I don't like, but when people do, I'm so grateful. You know, no matter if they're small, big, large, I don't care where they're at in the ecosystem. Somebody thought of me. Like, that's pretty cool, right? Because how many things can go through people's brains? So I was grateful for that. I'm so grateful because my wife brought me back food, right? She texted me right before I got on here. She's like, honey, you're probably hungry. Can I bring you back some really cool food? First thing I say is, man, I'm so grateful to have such an amazing wife. Like, somebody they just thought of me. Like, I'm so grateful for that. Right. So if I can give you the big, right, there it is, baby.
My fiance made me food I'm going to eat right after this.
Awesome. So, you know, like, everything to me is start with gratitude, and spirituality will only grow no matter what religion you're in, because you'll know that, hey, I'm grateful for the opportunity to go serve my neighbor, or I'm grateful for the opportunity that I'm able to go serve my neighbor. You know, I'm grateful for, I don't know, that we just have air out there, that people aren't grateful for COVID. I'm grateful just that we all made it through, and that we can realize the things that are happening to us. You know, there's always a way to be grateful, and that'll raise, in my opinion, the fastest way to raise your spiritual vibration and your spiritual attunement is by being grateful for whatever's providing that all for you.
Yeah, love that. I mean, gratitude is the way. It really is. You get out of your head and you get into your heart. You know, and we can find gratitude for everything in our lives, even if you're having an off day or, things go awry, you look down, you say, oh, I got 10 toes, I got 10 fingers. Ooh, I'm grateful. You could start there, start small with the breath.
Yep. Exactly.
Just
Right.
think of people who can't even breathe on their own. They need a respirator or whatnot.
100%.
Like there's so many little things that you can do every single day to set yourself up for success. And I think gratitude is one of them. By far, probably the best possible thing that you could do if you want to change your situation. And I always talk about real true happiness comes from within. It's not, although you might get a new horse, Bart, you might love that horse. It's gonna give you,
It really is here though. Like the horse could die tomorrow.
Yep.
All that is, once you can be happy with you and you're grateful, and it's not easy. This takes work. Like
Yeah.
I'm not here trying to preach something that doesn't take work, because we all get sold on this money idea, these other concepts. And let me be clear, they're awesome. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But when you're whole with yourself and you're providing solutions and you're grateful that you have people that want the solutions that you can provide, it's like when I get a client, I'm so grateful for them. I pray over them every single night. I'm so grateful that they're trusting me to help them with their business, because they could trust thousands of other people.
Yep.
Right. But they're willing to take what they're earning and what they're doing and trust in me. I'm grateful for that, and that provides love. And love is the next component that creates the highest vibration. Love and gratitude are just miracles in our lives. So
Amen to that, brother. That was beautiful. Mic drop moment. I wish we could end it there, but we can't, because we got to jump into the rapid fire round.
All right, let's do it.
This is basically just where I ask you random questions and you answer
Cool.
honestly. First thing that comes to mind. Are you ready?
All right. Yeah.
All right. Favorite food? Go.
Avocado, probably.
Oh, nice. Favorite movie?
It's called The Count of Monte Cristo.
Nice. Favorite book?
Favorite book? That's a tough one. Probably one of Joe Dispenza's. I really like his books. Like right now, today, I mean, Becoming Supernatural.
Yep. That's a good one. What's your spirit animal?
I don't even know. But if I had to pick one, it'd be a horse.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah.
I mean, if I had to pick one, it'd be a horse.
Best business advice?
No, you can.
Deep. If you had one billboard for the world to see, this was your last piece of content, what would that billboard say?
I love you.
Oh, right on. 3 things you're most grateful for right now.
3 things. One, always, the number one thing is that the universe is providing for me. I'm always so grateful for that, because the next is always my wife. So grateful for her. Like, who would put up with my BS for as long as they have and still continue to stick around? Amazing. So she's absolutely that. And then the third thing would be, and that includes my family, so the third thing would be all of my friends, just the people that I surround myself with. Super, super, super grateful for.
For sure, man. One superpower, what would it be?
I can see in people's businesses and in their lives and understand things that they can't understand quicker than they can. I get downloads and I'm able to see where they need to go without them knowing where they need to go. It's just like always been a superpower. I avoided it for years, blamed it on other things because I was always embarrassed of it, but it is an amazing superpower for me.
I love that you said that, because I was like, I think you already have that one. But one superpower that you wish you had is basically what I was trying to get at. But I'm like, that's a great response because you already have it.
Yeah.
One word, Bart, that you wish to be synonymous with your name for the rest of your life.
Giver.
Nailed it. I mean, you crushed that rapid fire round, Bart.
I don't know about that.
You did, man.
You really
tough. Did. Right. Bart, where can people go one more time to learn more about you, to follow you online? Give us some links. I know we got I Do Epic Coaching, but where else can people go to learn more about you?
I do a lot on Instagram right now. And you can go to Bart. It's Allan, Allan Miller, and you'll see me there. I have a cowboy hat and stuff on. A lot of good stuff I put on there. Facebook, you can get on there. I try to really be careful of the friends. I do look at everybody that asks for a friend request, amazing enough. But that's fine. And then I do Epic Coaching. That's a great place to connect with me. I don't know. Those are the main things, reach out to you. You know how to get a hold of me. That's right.
Yeah. Well, we'll link all that up in the show notes too, but I
Yeah.
definitely say follow Bart online, especially on
Yeah.
IG. He's got a great account with a lot of knowledge and wisdom that he's sharing on the regular. And, I do epic coaching, guys. Here's your opportunity to work with someone like Bart one-on-one. I would jump at the bit, at least apply and see if it's a fit, and go through the process.
Thank you.
Bart, man, I just want to take a moment to acknowledge you for sharing your love, your light, your wisdom with the Happy Hustlers, man. This has been truly an honor, and I appreciate you, and I want to just give you an opportunity to say any final words to the Happy Hustlers before I ask you the last question.
Well, the thing that I will say is I'm grateful for you. If you hadn't put this together and take the time to do this, right, the information doesn't get out there. So as awesome as you recognize me, I want to re-edify you in the fact that, this is great. So I hope everybody out there is taking advantage of not only this, whatever else you're offering out there. Because until you've done it, until you're in the arena, you can't pick on anybody else, right? But when you're in the arena, you can always recognize somebody else that's in the arena with you. And so it's great to see you in the arena with me and doing the things that you're doing and the way that you're growing, the way that you're handling yourself, the information that you're bringing out to people. So big kudos to you and to all your listeners. I know that you could be listening to anything right now, let alone my crazy story and what we're bringing to you. So to you as a listener, kudos to you for taking this time. And hopefully this did help you in some way, because at the end of the day, if it doesn't serve you, you won't come back for more. And so, thank you for listening. Thank you for spending time with us today. I mean, that means a lot to me. I'm grateful for you.
Love that, brother. And I receive it as well. Thank you. Final question, Bart.
Yeah.
What does happy hustling mean to you?
That means just exactly. I mean, it's a pretty good term because you know what? You choose to be happy or not to be happy. And you choose how much energy you want to put into stuff. You choose it. So to me, I got a choice to be happy and I got a choice to perform at whatever level I want to. And it brings out that excitement for me. So every time I hear it, I'm like, yeah, I want to be happy while I do the things that I love to do and put the energy into it.
Bart, the $1 Billion Cowboy Miller.
Woo!
Thank you, brother.
You're
Thanks
welcome.
all for watching and listening. Peace and love. We out.